Ah! That's a line from the movie right there.
No, dude, that's like 6 lines from the movie.
They did about 5 times in there.
I'm telling you, if you take some booze in this movie and you drink every time Wolverine looks up at the sky and goes, "Nah!" you'll be drunk by the time you leave that theater.
I think somebody who was writing this film doesn't really understand the internet and saw these references to the end of Revenge of the Sith and said, "Wow, people must really like that." Because you're right, it just happens all throughout this.
All right, y'all are the experts here.
Experts?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, no, I'm just
experts.
No, hey,
X-Men,
you guys.
Experts, you don't.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I did not mean it like that. I didn't mean, hey, experts. No, I didn't mean it like that. You guys know about this stuff.
You want to buy some ecstasy?
Now, that I am an expert in. No, you guys know about the history of X-Men, these characters and whatnot more than I do. So I want to get your opinion towards this.
Well, you want to set it up for what it is, or you think just saying like, look, this is the origin of Wolverine, where he was before, how he got to go from Logan to Wolverine to joining the X-Men.
I don't even want to go into detail about what it's about. I'll let one of you guys do it.
We did. It's called the last 3-hour League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. We're not going to go there again. Suffice it to say, this skips lightly through certain things that supposedly has happened to Logan during his comics career. It jumps around as is convenient to the script, which really, I think Carlisle said it best to me during the theater. He said, this is a Steven Seagal film, and that's all it is.
Yeah, I'll try. You tell me if I got this wrong now.
Okay.
Maybe it is
because actually, you know what? We know the history so well. It'd be interesting to hear it from a layman's point of view. Somebody who's coming cold, only watched the movie. What did you think? How would you sum it up?
And we can do those sounds.
Okay, all right. like I'm strapped to an electric chair, and you just shock me when I get it wrong. No, okay. For what I got from this now, me not being as immersed in this as you guys are. Wolverine, when he comes into the first X-Men movie, he doesn't really know too much about his history. So this goes through and explains what that's about. It explains how old he is, for one thing.
Right.
It explains how he got his adamantium skeleton.
Right.
It explains why, for one thing, he is screaming "ah" through the whole movie, because we learn that he's actually lost a lot and has learned not to trust people. And he comes down mainly because of this guy, General Stryker, who comes to him when they're in Vietnam, because Wolverine, his brother, who's the character?
Victor Creed?
Victor
Sabretooth?
Creed.
Sabretooth. There you go. Victor Creed, Sabretooth, his brother. They are so old that they have been through every major war that we've had.
Yeah.
And during the Vietnam War, where Sabretooth just pretty much goes crazy and starts killing people and becomes an animal, they're going to be executed. But General Stryker comes in and says, "You guys, you know what? You can't be killed. Here you are. Why don't we go ahead and use these powers to really help the government?" And that is where we begin to learn, like, is this guy really going to help them out and be on their side, or is this something sinister more happening
and
here?
in fact, we already know, because he's the same character from X-Men 2.
Brian Cox.
Played by Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this time it's Danny Houston playing the younger version of him.
Yeah, and
without the British accent. For some
yeah,
reason. I don't know.
and this is where we learn about the Weapons X program, which kind of picks up to where we start to realize what Wolverine, what he's so angry about and want to go after people for in the first X-Men movie.
Which, of course, ostensibly, if in the first X-Men movie he can't remember anything, then none of that matters, really. You're like, well, wait, why is he so angry then? I mean, you think he'd just be like, whatever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't remember, either he remembers everything or he doesn't. You got to make up your mind on that one, you know? Just saying.
I mean, you basically covered it in the most, broad stroke way possible. The only thing you left out is that, wow, this movie really did a poor job of covering all this. I mean, it's very generic, paint by the numbers. The thing about this movie is, it's not simply that it's bad, it's that there's nothing special about it. If you say it's a Steven Seagal movie, yeah, it almost is. It's just like there's some scene with some powers, some acrobatics, some fighting, and yet nothing that we haven't seen before done way better than this. And there's no feeling for the characters. That's the one thing about Wolverine was like he came with the shroud of mystery.
Yeah.
What's this guy about? And then once they lay it all out and show you, you're like, oh.
Well, that's kind of lame.
Really? Yeah, that's all?
I mean, to be fair, even in the comic books, it was kind of lame anyway once they did that. But, I think even more so than the story, and you're right, it's just kind of, ho-hum here. I really had a problem with the effects. I mean, there's a scene where he's just looking at his blades, and they're so fake.
I know,
they're
they
so
are.
astonishingly fake in CG. I'm like, you know what? That has thrown off my suspension of disbelief.
True.
Well, I'll mention something about the effects now. I'll give it to Carlisle. In movies, look, I have seen movies where they have spent $150 million on the effects, and then they have to get to that one shot of somebody climbing a wall. You do not keep moving your arms up and down while you're being pulled up on a string in a $100 million movie.
Exactly.
That doesn't ever look real.
There's times when it just looks really cheap.
Yeah, it's like they're supposed to be clinging onto the wall, but you actually have a person just dancing as somebody's pulling them up on a rope.
Yeah.
So
Carlisle, you have anything to say on this?
The man is in pain. Okay, don't push him.
he's over there crying.
No, it's just a piece of shit. I mean, the thing is, what this is, when you break it down, this is every bad, machismo-driven, terrible 80s film. I liked it better when it was called Universal Soldier. The basic premise here is, I mean, you guys set up the basic whole, well, it's Wolverine, blah, blah. No. What this is this is a movie about a super badass who's only good at killing people, but then he's tormented deep inside by what he's doing. He says, no, I'm going to go and live in the Canadian wilderness with my beautiful girlfriend, and I'm going to have nightmares about what I did. And he goes out in the Canadian wilderness, and he has nightmares about what he did. But the government wants him back because they need this cold-blooded killer. So they come and they go, join us. And he goes, no. And then they kill the woman he loves. And he's, no, I must kill them all. And then he goes about trying to kill them all. And it's really, every turn is a terrible, terrible cliche. They don't do anything cool here. And every time they try to do something cool, what they do is they go, we're going to take a character from the comics and insert him randomly into the film and try to make him work. Remember that guy who was a big badass in that team? Well, now he's the Blob. Now, fortunately, no matter how bad an actor everyone is in this film, they are shielded by the fact that they've cast will.i.am, who apparently is playing a robot because he's the stiffest, most tired, cliched actor I've seen in a film. They literally, it's like they grabbed him off the CNN set and threw him right in the middle of the movie and said, go. He's like, wait, what am I? Where am I?
Man, I mean, as rappers go, I thought he did okay.
He's a deer in the headlights.
No, he has no idea what he's doing in this movie. He's so confused.
Is that the dude from the Black Eyed Peas or something?
He's
Okay,
the lead singer.
I thought he was just the guy who was campaigning for Obama on CNN.
No,
he's like, and will.i.am. Oh, this is the spokesman for black people.
Oh, I looked at him and I said, you know something? That looks like a Black Eyed Pea. and it was. I was like, but hey, you know what? I had to give it to him. He really wasn't that bad.
I can't totally blame him though, because I know Hugh Jackman is an actor capable of being good, and yet there are points in here I was like, what in the fuck are you doing? And I realized after a while, it's not him. It's the way the director is shooting this. There are all these scenes where the camera just stays on too long. You're like, dude, turn off the camera. Okay, that scene is done. Move on.
Well, not only that, but the fact is, the movie is written in a way where there's no pop to the dialogue. None of it is special. Most of it is bad.
Most of it's cliche.
Oh, it's super cliche. But there's no character there. It's like, if you're going to focus on Wolverine, let me know about Wolverine. What's his personality like? All you know about Wolverine is that he's a killer who hangs out with killers, but he's the one with the heart of gold who kind of feels bad about it. It's like, dude, what makes you better than the rest of them? Just do your job.
Where's the
Stop
point
being a pussy?
Where's the point where Wolverine becomes scary to the audience?
Right.
Because
Never
he
happens.
should be scary to the audience.
He should be, and he never is.
And to add to that, they try to build up pathos to make him kind of scary, but then they keep giving us plot twists that undercut every bit of pathos they had built up in the film. They're like, oh, you think this happened, which makes him like this. And it's like, oh, no, not really. Oh, well, so why am I here?
Yeah,
I'm scary again. No, you're not.
No,
Just
you're
go.
not.
No.
Well, I mean, in order for Wolverine to be scary, at this point, you got to get another actor, because it's like I've been saying the whole time I was watching him. I'm thinking about him dancing at the Academy Awards.
That ruined it.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of him pulling out those claws and right he was about to stab somebody. Like, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. I'm like, no, man.
I mean, that is one of those things when you see him do the Oscars, it's hard to go back to that, even though he was so effective as Wolverine in those first, 3 movies. But to me, a lot of what undercuts this is like, it's all about killing. It's about stabbing people with blades. You got a character with claws. You got him with his metal blades. You got another character with blades. All this stabbing hardly any blood.
Yeah, this is one
and
of these-
somebody, when you stab somebody and no
Yeah.
blood comes out, it's just not real.
This is one of these things where people are complaining lately. A lot of movies they feel should be R are being released as PG-13. And I'm like, a lot of them like, okay, so what? I mean, when you go back and watch Terminator 2 now, you're like, well, that's pretty much PG-13 movie by today's standards.
Sure.
So big deal if the new one is right. This needed to be R. A Wolverine story. This guy's power is to cut people to pieces.
Now you know that's not going to happen.
I'm
Now,
just saying.
Because you know.
If all that wasn't bad enough, how do you kill a Wolverine with adamantium fucking
I know.
bullets?
I know.
Let's ignore the fact that the laws of physics.
I know.
They've already told us that once you melt this stuff down, you cannot ever heat it up and melt it again.
Yes.
You have to. It hardens to a point. So forget the fact that the laws of physics say that an adamantium bullet shouldn't exist at all. We're going to fire adamantium bullets at the adamantium man, and that's how we're going to kill him.
And that makes no sense for anyone who has, a mild understanding of science or physics, like at an elementary school level.
He's a werewolf, apparently.
It would bounce off.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You got to get silver bullets to kill a werewolverine. But hey, look. Let me. This guy. The guy directed this. Actually directed one of my favorite movies. Yeah, Gavin Hood. He directed Satsi, a movie that I think it won.
That movie.
It won the Best Foreign Film Oscar.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, and I really love Satsi, but this goes to show you that you can take some of the most talented directors and put them in a studio movie, and it will still be a studio movie. I mean, this is not going to it's not going to be any different from any other summer blockbuster, except that you got some that are better than others. I mean, because what I'm going to say here is that having not going in with the in-depth knowledge that you guys have of this movie, I thought it was all right myself.
I mean, you can say that Satsi, is that it?
Satsi, yeah.
Is a better movie than this, and you would be absolutely correct. And you go, but how could this be the same director? Well, it's like two completely different jobs, filming a small little indie film like Satsi and making a multi-million-dollar huge studio with lots of interference film like the X-Men.
Yeah, no, because here you got somebody like Christopher Nolan who comes in and automatically just says, you know what, I'm going to take this, I'm going to make this the best that I can, and I'm going to leave my mark on this. And you got somebody who, like Gavin Hood, who takes a project like this, and I'm sure it's a job. They're saying, you know what, don't fuck this up, and he's taking the safe route over this, and he's not going to try to do anything except make it the summer blockbuster that it is.
Besides just being a job, I mean, he's a guy who's only done an independent feature, so the studio's going to bully him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got no power. Unlike a Christopher Nolan, who's made them money, they'll listen to him. But
And
this
who
guy
has
he comes
already
in,
dealt with the studios.
Right.
He knows how to do it. He knows how to finagle his way around. I mean, even for people who have, though, for people who are used to doing smaller films like, say, Ang Lee, it's a completely different animal making a big movie like this. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Just because you can make a really great small film doesn't mean you have the capability of making a good superhero, big budget action film.
And look, when I say I thought it was all right, don't get me wrong. When I say it's all right, I'll forget about this in a year, because automatically right off the bat,